that fresh produce stand there. That's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's Thirsty Thursday, and that means we are once again hanging out at the produce stand. Podcast covering everything in the universe and adjacent. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other Letterkenny podcasts out there, but this one is about to rock 'em and sock 'em. Let's go! I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room, as always, is lovely Tanya. And online, we have Squirrely Matt and the valuable Victor. Gentlemen and lady, how are you now?
Good, and you?
Not so bad. Thank you, Matt, for...
I'm not used to that line of questioning.
I know.
This early on.
Oh, we didn't have a guest, so I didn't play our unicorn. I didn't. We don't have a guest. It's just going to be the four of us tonight. It's an OG episode.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize it. I just heard you say it.
Yeah,
it's true. Normally, there's 4 windows on my screen, and now there's not.
What happened?
I could go somewhere else.
Nothing happened. I just wanted to just keep it the four of us for these episodes, just to keep things simple. But anyway, let's get this thing started.
How are you now?
Tonight's lineup is going to be myself, Matt, Tanya, and Victor. Starting with me, let's see. It's been a couple of weeks since I guess we last met, although, Matt, it's been longer with you. I can't even think about what's been going on, but today was a crazy day. But before I started recording, Tanya had mentioned both of the whole like sunlight until 9:30 really fucks us up because we just don't stop working. And Tanya literally stopped working around 9 and not because of the sunlight, but because she had shit to do and lost track of time. And I've been working on the script for tonight right up until we started recording. So it's been a long day for me. This past weekend, we had family over, like 18 people in the house for our daughter's confirmation. That was a lot of fun. It was a full house. And Victor, we watched Project Hail Mary.
Nice.
Yes. Enjoyed it very much. I really
Don't spoil. I'm about 2/3 through it. So.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm quite enjoying it.
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
Is there a seat in a theater that you keep going back to?
Excuse me.
No, I have a feed.
That's not the way to watch this movie. You got to.
I understand that. I just didn't get out to the theater.
All right.
Oh, thank you, Gord, for reminding me. And yes, Toronto Mike had his Elma combo debut last week.
What was that? How did that go down?
It was surprisingly enjoyable, actually. So one of his listeners thought that, oh, you are so funny, you need to do a one-man show, and basically booked the Elma combo, which is a legendary music venue here in Toronto. For those of you who don't know, for Mike to host this thing, but Mike had nothing prepared. So for the last few months, he's been like writing and working on a 90-minute one-man show. And he's never done this before. He's never done any kind of like stand-up or anything like this. Like, he's done his podcast and he can speak on a podcast for 90 minutes easily, but this is different. And this is like a paying audience. That's where I went last Wednesday or Thursday. And so to his credit, he did it. He didn't say no. He stepped out of his comfort zone and he did a good job. He did a decent job. He kept us entertained. I mean, it wasn't.
So was it stand up or was it him telling stories?
It was him telling stories and some of them were amusing. Like it was kind of like, it wasn't quite Mike Birbiglia, but it was fun. It was fun. And I mean, the Elma Combo is an amazing venue and he had the downstairs room, not the upstairs room. So the downstairs room is like more. And then he had a decent turnout and stuff. So, I think most people.
So the Toronto Mike Tiger Blood Tour, is that what it's called?
Yeah. No, he's his one and only show. It's funny what they do there, right? Like they do it up so that anyone who plays there, I guess, gets kind of special treatment. Like there are steps coming up from the bathrooms with the names of the different bands that have played there, like Steppenwolf and Rolling Stones and all these like legendary bands. But I feel like they leave one step that's kind of like they can change it according to what act's playing there, because Toronto Mike was there between Steppenwolf and Chaos. Like he was,
That's cool.
He was on one of the rungs, and then they had this big like vinyl record thing with his logo in the middle so people can do like a picture in front of it. So they do it up nice for whoever's playing there. And Mike did a great job, and it was fun to hang out with people and check that out. Matt, we haven't seen or heard from you in a while. How have you been, bud?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember the last episode I was actually on. It's been interesting. I mean, I won't get into detail. I'll be honest, it's been a rough year. Just been some drama in the personal side that I've been coping with. I know Al, I reached out to you one of the episodes. I was prepared to come on, and then I decided not to because mentally I was in no position to be on a mic that night. So I didn't know what I might have said, so I just decided to stay off. But no, I missed you guys, and I knew I had to. I couldn't stay away from ever because this is just too much damn fun. And aside from all that shit, I've been busy. I'd say one of the biggest things that's been happening lately on my end is I think I've talked before, we have a tenant in our basement, but he's moving out.
Oh.
And he's a close friend of ours, and it's been great for a long time, but he's going on to new things, and we're happy for him. But now we're like, well, how do we need to supplement this income? And we've been battling between bringing in a new full-time renter or going down the Airbnb route and giving that a try, because it's a little more opportunity there if we play our cards right. But what that also means is the basement has never been fully completed for a proper rental, right? Like even the doors don't have full locks on them because it's just a friend. So it's never been a matter. So lately we've been scrambling to get all that ready. So like even this week I spent a couple days framing out an entire storage room on our back stairwell, because that will be the emergency exit, but that's also access to all of our shit. And so I need to make sure that that's walled off, and I'm putting up doors in like 4 other places and having to get a new interconnected smoke alarm system across the house, and all these things that we're quickly learning in a rental situation that we really need to have, and in some cases are legally obligated to have. So going through all that has been an interesting process. We're almost there, and we're kind of playing it out, but that's our plan. Is we're going to try the Airbnb thing for a bit, see if we can make the offset what we need. And then what it also gives us is that freedom to have that basement for when we do need it. Right. So, we haven't been able to use that space pretty much ever. So, if families coming to town or friends are coming to town, we can just block it off that weekend and say, you know what, you can crash downstairs. So, fun little journey we're going through. It's been adding some stress, but we're figuring that out. And aside from that, the kids are good. Sports are starting. Summer's almost here. Yeah.
Oh, good point, Corey. Says get it ready before the World Cup. You'll have no shortage of renters.
So we're just, so you say that, and I hear a lot of horror stories right now, because apparently, and I don't know all the details, and I don't know if it's affected all the cities, but FIFA really screwed over the rental market. If you read about this at all, apparently they blocked off like massive blocks of hotels and things like that in some of the major cities that they're hosting, and then out of nowhere canceled thousands of them. Right. So all these places that were in like assumed rented out, other places have now rented, but now their hotels are completely vacant, and the demand's not the same. So it's kind of screwed up the whole rental market. And then in our case, he's not leaving until the end of June. So we'll miss a couple of the games.
Yeah.
And we still need a bit of a turnover once he's gone to make sure that the place is ready. So we might catch the tail end. The only good thing is we are now off the new LRT, the new transit system that has opened up in Toronto. So that creates a much more desirable need in our area, because it's not like there's a lot of stuff around me, but having that direct walking distance to major transit line definitely helps us out. So we'll see how it goes, but it'll be an interesting new chapter for us.
And now your long lost cousin Jeff will have a place to stay whenever he's in town.
This is true. This is true. You ain't wrong. So I will have an Airbnb in our soon future, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds super exciting. I can't wait to hear more about that, Matt. For me, it's been a whirlwind lately. As Alan mentioned, we had 18 people over for lunch on Sunday, and I took the I was very creative, and my daughter loves cherry blossoms.
Oh my God.
So I got into my head that we could make decorations and do cut out cherry blossoms in different pink paper. And I think I made close to, I don't know, I'd say 800 maybe.
It was an assembly line all week of her and Veronica cutting little tiny flowers out of cardboard or whatever, paper, really fancy paper.
Yeah.
To tape on the wall.
Like
it looks great, but man, the work involved in that was
I think there was like 5 nights where I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning making these tiny little paper flowers. And so yeah, it was
What do you do with them afterward?
They're all on the wall currently. I use painter's tape and tape them to the wall so that they won't pull off my paint after. And yeah, they're just currently up as decorations. She loved it. She was just like,
oh, it looked great. It turned out really well.
She was in her glory. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had family stay with us during the time. I don't know if that looks so great, but anyways, yeah. It was a lot of work, but a lot of fun. And yeah. And then other than that, it's just been a whirlwind of work and more work. Listening to my son's stories of
cool
school life.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's what it turned out. Yeah.
Jesus.
Those
That's
were all individually hand cut.
Are you sharing?
Yes.
Yeah, they were there. It was a lot of work, but it was really rewarding at the end. It really
did. The family appreciate it?
Everyone did. Yeah. Everything really came out really well. We made our own centerpieces. Veronica loves crafts, and apparently and I as do I. And yeah, we gave flowers away.
I don't, but I got roped into cutting a few myself.
Yeah, you
anyway.
were very grumpy.
I was. I mean,
you were. But
wasn't my idea, and you guys still made me do it.
Because you need to participate in these types of things. Anyways, yeah, we had a lot of fun. But that's pretty much it. Like, there's not a whole lot of updates from my update.
Okay, Victor.
Wow. It's, I don't know. It's really been busy work wise. Like today I've been literally on call since 7 a.m. And more of that tomorrow, unfortunately. But, yeah, I don't know. I think last weekend was a long weekend. So there was some family stuff. We had, I thought we were going for my nephew's birthday. And so when we got there, I was making jokes about cakes and stuff like that and birthday presents. And then apparently I found out that, no, we're not there to celebrate his birthday. We're just happy that he's visiting from Calgary.
Did you go with a gift?
We went with a $50 gift that I was asked not to give him because then it would make other people awkward.
So you're like, bonus, I just saved myself $50.
Yeah. But I'm glad we didn't show up with like a birthday cake.
Right?
Or anything
Yeah.
like that.
That's amazing, Victor.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was fun. But yeah, I don't know, like not much. I'm getting excited. Obviously, we've got the hockey playoffs that nobody seems to really give a shit about. But
Buffalo's out. I don't care.
So something fun.
Shout out to Tom.
Yeah.
I was razzing Tom online too.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is that Buffalo is out by a team that is embarrassing themselves now, but it's okay. They're young and stuff like that. So they'll be fine. But basically they don't stand a chance. I mean, even if they win tomorrow, it's going to be Carolina against Las Vegas. What's fun about that is that either Freddie or Mitch are going to win a cup this year. So that is so.
I hope it's Mitch.
So
I hope it's Mitch.
Yeah, I
would serve the Leafs.
Yeah, the way
Who's
that
Freddie?
the way what?
Which one's Freddie? Who's Freddie?
Oh, Freddie Anderson.
Thank you. I caught the Mitch reference. I didn't catch the Freddie one.
Yeah, he's the goal. He was.
Tanya didn't catch any of it. She's like, whatever.
Mitch Marner.
Yeah. Anyway, Mitchie would be a little more gratifying just because the way he was shipped out of town, like people are just dumb and stupid.
Yep.
But yeah, and he's just like, what's funny about him is that he looks the same way today as he did when he was like 15 years old.
I know. I know he looks like a kid. Well, you know what?
Guy
all those little players are like that. I mean, even like the coach of Montreal Canadiens just now looks his age, but when he was playing
St. Louis, yeah.
Martin St. Louis, he looked like a kid too, right up until he retired. Now he's got the gray beard and stuff, and now he looks
except when you look at his calves are bigger than his head.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah. He's a crazy one.
Victor, I'd like to offer you my condolences. A New Jersey great passed away today. Claude Lemieux.
Are you serious?
Oh, you didn't know that?
I just saw that too, actually, right before.
Wait, but he would.
Tragic.
He would be really young. What happened?
I think he was 61. That death by suicide.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You should have saved that for the news at the end of the show.
No, I want to do it now so that we can move on. But yeah, that was tragic. You hate to.
Sucks.
Yeah, you hate to see that kind of news anytime. But
yeah. No, he was one of my favorites.
I know he was. Yeah.
And not everybody knows, but he was a Conn Smythe Trophy winner. For the first cup. I think it was the first cup that they won. He was their Conn Smythe winner, and he was like basically a rat kind of a player. He wasn't.
Oh yeah, he was a Shoresy favorite for sure. I think he's been mentioned on Shoresy a few times for sure.
Yeah, and not the Mario, Claude.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad. And especially the surface. It's another. That's terrible.
It's horrible.
I'll have to look into that story. But on a brighter note, Supergirl, we're about to hit June, and June becomes the countdown to June 26th, which is the release date of this movie. It's getting a lot of weird vibes on the internet, so stay off the internet. But just, go and appreciate it. I'm sure it's going to be good. It's going to be a good movie, and just the weirdos are not going to like it. And the latest trailer for Lanterns is really exciting. So you go watch that, because that's going to be an awesome show. So people who like True Detective, it's basically like True Detective, except superheroes and Green Lanterns.
I'm not going to lie. What's happening with DC right now is looking better and better all the time. I'm excited for Supergirl. I really like Superman, and I've never liked a Superman movie.
What? Not even Christopher Reeves?
Oh, no, man. That shit's so boring. God.
Yeah, you know what? I the nostalgia of it is
I never did. But Supergirl looks great, and with Millie Alcock leading the way, she was fantastic in
Dragons,
the game of the Dragon House of Dragons and stuff. So she looks like she's gonna be fantastic in this.
Yeah, and Momoa is in there playing Lobo. So that's gonna be great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward. And by the way, and Superman's going to have a bit of a role in there as well. So
cool.
And then Lanterns. Go see the Lanterns trailer. It looks absolutely incredible. Can't wait for that to drop. It's going to be a great show. So aside from that, I got nothing.
All right. Well, I think that's enough. So why don't we get this thing started, shall we?
Previously on Letterkenny.
Just for what's this? Just for you. Oh God, Matt, you suck. Anyway, last time on the podcast, if you can remember,
you're not going to close caption that one.
Yeah, he's got a little box that said "just for you." He opened the box and a middle finger popped up. Thank you, Matt, for interrupting my flow. Like I needed that after we haven't podcasted in a few weeks. Anyway, let's do that again, shall we?
Previously on Letterkenny.
Last time on the podcast, we held our Egg Hall social. Fuck you, Matt. Our listeners joined us to talk about what they thought of Shoresy season 5. We had trivia, and we discussed what we hope to see in season 6. This week, we finally begin our coverage of Keep Your Head Up, Kid, the Don Cherry story. So let's get started.
Well, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
We're going to begin by saying this is why we're doing this. So since we started this podcast, it's going to be, by the way, we're going to hit our 6-year anniversary this July. So in a couple of months, 6 years. Ever since we started talking about the possibility of covering anything other than Letterkenny and then Shoresy, people have been asking if we're going to do the Don Cherry story. Why the Don Cherry story? People outside of Canada don't even know who he is unless you're in
Massachusetts
and in some northern states as well. You don't know who he is, but he's one of the most famous Canadians in Canada. And the reason we're going to cover it is because Jared Keeso played him in this mini series of movies.
Wait, that's Jared Kiso?
In the series of movies and the other reason we're going to do this is because I think as we watch this, we're going to see a lot of parallels between the Don Cherry legend and the character of Shoresy, I believe. And so Americans might enjoy that, especially if you're a Letterkenny and Shoresy fan. I think you're going to find this really interesting. Victor, I know I asked you this before, but can you kind of explain who Don Cherry is in a nutshell, or?
Sure. I mean, when he was just like any other kid, when you're young, you play hockey in Canada and you have the dream of making the NHL. And he actually had a chance to do that, not as a star, but as a tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're not going to go into spoilers right now, but he basically, Charlie Brown footballed himself out of every opportunity that he's ever had, except it wasn't Lucy taking the football away from him. It was himself.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, he basically became a professional American Hockey League player, and that's basically where he spent his. And he, some people are confused about this, but he never actually played in the NHL.
No,
yeah, that was my new fact today. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he never did.
Well, he played that one game in Boston for the Bruins.
Yes,
he never played in the NHL. Okay, it doesn't matter. He wasn't an NHL player. Like he can't even say that he had a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? He wasn't
a shot of espresso, but okay,
yeah, sure, yeah. So anyway, but he was definitely, and this is not a spoiler because we'll get into it, but he was a coach in the NHL and a successful one. And then after the coaching career, he eventually ended up in broadcasting, and it's an interesting story about how he got there. And this is the tragedy of it all, and we'll get into the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The reason he got famous is not because he was a smart coach or whatever. That's maybe how he got the break, but it was for his controversy. It was for for his takes. He had a lot of interesting hot takes, and those hot takes started very much focused on hockey at the beginning of it. And as towards the end of the career, it went more and more into politics and to other areas where he really didn't belong. However, his employer continued to employ him specifically because he was a ratings magnet.
Sure.
Because people wanted to tune in and see what crazy things Don Cherry going to say and do this week. And the reality is, it was cinema, right? Like Hockey Night in Canada wasn't just a hockey game. It was a hockey game plus the first intermission.
Right. That's
what Hockey Night in Canada was. And everybody can still sing the song. Dun, da, 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 dun, 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 da, 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 dun, right? Like it's ingrained in us.
Mm-hmm.
And when they canceled that show in a very tragic way, the way that it was done, it killed Hockey Night in Canada. Hockey Night in Canada, Saturday nights is just another game. That's all it is. It's not Hockey Night in Canada anymore because that was a staple from since I was a child till I was an adult. It was Coach's Corner.
20 years, I think, right? 20 plus years? Yeah, something like
20
that.
20 years. Yeah. And Coach's Corner died. Hockey Night in Canada died. And nobody could give a flying fuck about the first intermission, to be honest. Mm-hmm. That's where people go to the fridge, they whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, Elliot Friedman, you're a cool dude, but nobody cares, right? So it was just tragic the way he did it because they employed him for that. And then one random stupid thing that he said, they said, this is our line. And now people are calling in, they're angry. So we're going to use this as the opportunity to fire. Just don't renew him. Don't renew him. Let the contract run out and don't bring him back. But don't fire him for the thing that you hired him for, or for the, you know what I mean? It's just such a dumb way to do it. And he's like, he says the same stuff that some of our parents say, you know what I mean? Like he's just
it was like watching your grandfather or your old uncle on TV for 10 minutes every Saturday night.
Yeah. And they made him a villain, and it's just tragic. Like he's just like, leave him alone. He's fine, whatever. And I know people will disagree with me, just like with the Gretzky.
He made himself a villain. They didn't make him a villain. And I would argue it wasn't the one thing he said. He said many things over 20 years.
Yeah.
It was just the last thing he said.
No, Al, I agree with you, but he was employed for that reason. That's why they kept bringing him back.
Yeah.
And then they used that against him. And it's just, and then, his best friend didn't do anything to defend him. And like, Ron McClain didn't need the money. Who cares? Who cares if they fire you too? Just stand up for your friend. You've been doing this with him. You don't have to agree with what he said, but stand up for him. If the company that is basically hiring him to do that, and then one day decides to turn on him, just stand up for him. Hey, he's just doing what you paid him to do. Yeah. And now you're turning on him. So if you're going to fire him, I'm walking too. That would have been the upfront thing to do. And I know a lot of people will disagree with me, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but that's where I
do.
stand.
I do disagree. Yes. I mean, Ron McClain is still on TV. He's still a great broadcaster. And why should he take a bullet because his friend wanted to shoot himself in the foot? I don't
because the CBC is not somebody you should just put to the side. They're the ones responsible for it all.
Yeah,
they hired Cherry to do exactly what he was doing.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah,
he just finished.
92.
He was podcasting.
Is he 92?
He was podcasting for a while there. Actually, his last podcast was earlier this year, I believe. Yeah. But he was podcasting after he left CBC. He continued with a podcast with his son, I think Tim, producing it and stuff. And Tim figures heavily into this movie, into the story. He wrote the stories. So,
did he?
We're going to get into it.
There's a writing partner there, but Tim is definitely.
It's written in his thought. So when we watch this, and like I said, like Victor said, Don Cherry was on TV for 20 years, and I'll disagree with you in one thing. I don't think he was hired just for his controversial takes. I think he was hired because he was a great storyteller.
Yeah, they kept him for that reason.
They maybe kept him for his controversial, but when they first hired him, he told great stories. And a lot, this movie here, these movies that we're going to comment on, I mean, a lot of the stories in these movies, I remember hearing him tell on Hockey Night in Canada, like over and over and over again, all the legendary Eddie Shore stories and stuff like that. So we'll get to that. But anyway, yeah. So in case that didn't just further cloud what Don Cherry is and why they made a movie on his life, or 4 movies on his life, that's why.
And sorry,
and both of these movies just were made before before he was
firing
happened. Yeah.
And I was going to ask, at what point were these movies? Where was he in his career when these movies were created?
Yeah, he hadn't been fired from the CBC yet, so he was
already controversial.
Yeah, he was already controversial.
He was making.
Was he already on Saturday night?
Yeah, he was on CBC. He was on Hockey Night in Canada still.
Yeah,
he was on there already.
Yeah, what's funny about like something you've already said that would never even occurred to me until you just said it, Al, is that most Americans may not even know who Don Cherry is. Mm-hmm. Because you're right, like obviously not a big sports guy here, but in terms of Canadian names, if I'm listing like 5 to 10 famous Canadians, he is absolutely on that list of people that I know, that I recognize. And even like, not that I watched hockey, but I absolutely watch the Rock'em Sock'em videos that came out every year, because those are just some fucking blast to watch, right? So
I still have the video cassettes.
Do you? It's amazing.
Presents and stuff.
Yeah. So he is very synonymous with Canadian culture. Love him or hate him. So it wouldn't even have occurred to me that people didn't realize how big he was to us.
Folks in like hockey fans in Boston and maybe Rochester, New York, and certain parts like northeastern states might still know who he is, but for the most part, he was most famous in Canada.
Because
loud, big collars, bright ties.
Oh my God! Yeah,
the jackets.
His suits were tailored from fabric that he would buy at a curtain store, like at Fabricland or whatever. Yeah,
he had some of the craziest outfits you could imagine on TV.
But weren't the hockey games also aired in the States? Like, wouldn't they have seen?
But they wouldn't have seen hockey. Like
not CBC.
Not CBC. They watch it on Fox or NBC in the US, right? So they wouldn't see Coach's Corner.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they wouldn't watch Coach's Corner in the US. They'd have their own American.
I thought that was streamed for everybody. No. I thought that was part of the
that's
hockey.
My ignorance too. I just assumed that everyone knew who he was.
Everybody,
he's on my TV every Saturday night.
He was on, so I figured it was part of the show.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right,
so
let's get started.
So can everybody now see who he is? Like, can
I mean, his podcast is on YouTube. Anyone can watch it.
I mean, the Hockey Night in Canada. Like, are those episodes somewhere for people to?
Oh, Coach, you mean Coach's Corner?
Coach's Corner, yeah.
So Jeff says American hockey fans know him because he was featured heavily during the Stanley Cup playoffs. So there might have been during the play. Again, if you're a hockey fan, yes, you'll know who Don Cherry is.
if you're a typical American, you may if you don't even know what NHL is,
Right. You won't know who Don Cherry
you're
is.
not going to know who.
But if you're a fan of Shoresy, you might have an idea because he's also mentioned a few times in Shoresy, and as we're going to learn, lots of stuff from the universe is mentioned and is influenced by Don Cherry and Shoresy.
But wasn't the movie? So the movie was available to everyone.
Yeah, and it's right now. It's actually not even available in Canada, but in the U.S., people can watch it on Amazon. Apparently,
but it was filmed in the U.S., wasn't it?
No, it was shot here.
Was it?
Said?
Yeah, it was shot here. All right, let's get this going
because I was thinking that Kiso went to California, and I thought that's where he got this role.
No, this is a Canadian production.
You're just making
shit up.
This is a Canadian production. This is so. Here's the thing: there are two.
Matt's like.
So, and here's
This
the
is going
confusion.
so
Here's
well.
the confusion we were having on our little TPS chat as well. There are two quote unquote seasons. It's a mini
Oh my
series.
God, you guys were
I know.
absolutely a hot mess.
Okay, but this is how it's treated. Victor, shut the fuck up. This is how it's treated on Amazon. 2 seasons. Season one is called Keep Your Head Up, Kid, and there's 2 parts. Movie 1, movie 2 of Keep Your Head Up, Kid, and then there's The Wrath of Grapes. That's season 2, and there's a part 1 and 2. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about part 1 of that first season, and only the first half of part 1, even though I wanted to do the whole thing, but I ran out of time. So we're only doing the first half of that.
And next month, we're going to do Godfather season 1 and Godfather season 2.
But only the first half.
I'm sorry, what are we doing now?
They were all, yeah, Awesome's right. They were mostly filmed in Winnipeg, actually, the movies. The film, as I mentioned, was written by Tim Cherry, and that's Don Cherry's son. So the scripts were written by his son.
I didn't know that.
Directed by director Jeff Wolnoff or Wono, or I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's been a director for like Vikings, Battlestar Galactica, Being Erica. So he's got a lot of credits, mostly television. Yeah. So, and there's a very vintage, look to this movie. So these movies. So let's get started. Here we go. The film opens in working class Kingston, Ontario. That's where Don Cherry is from. In his youth, Don is shown as a tough, stubborn kid from a blue-collar family. We get a scene from him as a child in school. After reading Black Beauty, Don is asked to share a story that he knows about horses.
My dad was in the Royal Canadian Horse Artillery. He said that when you put the saddle on the horse and you go to tighten it, you should knee the horse in the stomach so it sucks up.
I beg your pardon?
You know, get the saddle on nice and tight so it won't fall off.
Donald, I don't believe that's true.
Are you saying my father's a liar?
No, I didn't say that.
You said it wasn't true, so you're calling my father a liar.
I always called it like I saw it.
Sit down, Donald.
I don't think I want to sit down, okay?
I just couldn't keep my big mouth shut.
Mr. Cherry, principal's office. Everyone else, class dismissed.
My father taught me never back down from a fight.
All right. Instead of the way we usually do it, where we have hold our comments to the end, because we're not rating this half or whatever, we can talk after these scenes. So let's talk a little bit about when I watched this scene here. That kid looked a lot like Eric Fleising, the guy who played Caleb in Shoresy. I had to look it up. It wasn't him, but they had a strong resemblance to each other. But anyway, it's funny. I'm old enough where the principal of my grade school still threatened the strap. Now, I don't know anybody who ever got it, but there was still
a Catholic school.
Yeah, I went to a Catholic school.
Didn't a nun hit you or something? Wasn't there a story?
No, I had a nun as a principal, but I was never hit by. I was slapped in the face once by my kindergarten teacher for saying the word shit in class, but that was the teacher, not the principal or the nun.
Yeah, it sounds like you had it coming.
Yeah.
But I have to know, like, what was kindergarten Alan like? Like, you grew up with your parents only speaking Portuguese. So was Was it the fact that you only knew the English word shit?
No. I was fluent by the time I was 5. Because back in the day too, there was a lot of door-to-door salespeople and stuff. Like I learned English from TV, and I was the one who had to answer the door when somebody knocked, because I was the only one in the house who could speak English to people who came, like, vacuum salespeople or encyclopedia salespeople. Like my parents bought a whole set of the pretend. Anyway,
our young listeners have no idea what you're talking
exactly. It's like Google in book form. But anyway, but yeah,
books. Not wrong.
Awesome said that the first scene is fucking wild, and it is wild, like to see that, that's how things were back then. And after that scene, we cut to Don in the principal's office getting the strap to each hand multiple times, and the principal telling Don how he's one of the principal's favorites, but he's got to find somewhere to channel his aggression.
No, we haven't got there yet.
Yeah. But so anyway, we haven't got there, but yeah, that's what did you guys think of that kind of opening scene, Matt?
No, it's simple. It sets a good tone of who Don Cherry is and where he came from. It's a wild time. Like what? And this was what, in the 50s, 40s? When is this? Does this take place?
You know what? I don't know, but probably around then.
So he's 92 now.
Because he was 10 in that scene.
Someone do the math really quickly.
So,
that's 30s, 40s probably.
There's a lot.
Yeah. That's a long time ago. So yeah, world's very, very different place, and
so different.
Awesome. Get your mind out of the gutter. In this case, what they did to Don Cherry is getting the strap up here in Canada. At least it's being hit by the strap on your hand. That's what it's called. So I don't know what you're thinking of. Awesome. It's not what I'm thinking of.
That's what it was called. What else would it be called?
She's thinking of something kinky or something.
The other thing I really like is it set the tone right away for the narration. And I don't always love narration, but it really fits well into this series.
Yeah.
So his voice coming in and just calling that out like he saw it, I'm like, all right, here we go.
And Kisa's impression of Don Cherry is pretty spot on.
It's pretty good. Yeah, he's got that tone and that cadence just like him. So I appreciated it out of the gate.
At one point, I needed to ask, like, who is it Don that's doing it at the narrative, or is it Kisa?
No, it's Kisa. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a great job.
That would have been something if they got Don Cherry to actually do the narrative.
He could have too. Like back, especially when this movie first came out, Don was still, capable of doing his own voiceovers.
I love the reference, never back down from a fight, and then fast forward to Letterkenny.
Yeah.
And that Wayne never backed down from a fight. And that was kind of the premise of.
Oh, we're going to see a lot of that throughout. Yeah.
I think you're getting an origin story here, Tanya. So
yes. Victor, what did you think of that scene?
Yeah, it was good. Reminds me of Soviet Union.
I was waiting for that. Yeah.
Felt right.
What do they call get the strap over there? Pass me the AK.
Yeah, it was probably more subtle.
Go for a walk out that window.
Yeah. 10 paces.
Yeah.
Should I remind you about the Russian Winnie the Pooh?
Man.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So anyway, after that little scene, we cut to the Don in the principal's office getting the strap, despite telling Don he's one of the principal's favorites. But he's got to find somewhere to channel his aggression. To further drive Don's stubbornness home, as he leaves, the teacher goes to open the door for him, but Don refuses and opens the door himself, despite his hands being sore from the strap. When he turned 15, he dropped out of school to play hockey. So we get this introduction to Don, the teenager, at Boston Bruins rookie camp, and our first Kiso sighting.
After 4 seasons in the juniors and the Memorial Cup, the Bruins sent me to play for the Hershey Bears in the American Hockey League. You know what they paid us in those days? $2,500 a year. But I'll tell you, I'd have played for free. I had a good rookie season. Only 20 points, but penalty minutes? 125. Everybody against the boards, let's go! You know, with those stats, I don't gotta tell you what kind of player I was. Nice play, Don. Keep it up. Keep hands over and back. Come on, let's go! You can sum up my style in 2 words. Okay, forward, let's go! Rock 'em, sock 'em.
All right. So we get our first kind of taste of future Don there. Rock'em Sock'em. So production note, the term Rock'em Sock'em is not just an allusion to the old Rock'em Sock'em robot toys, but Don Cherry had a series of videos in the late 80s throughout the 90s and right up until 2018, created by his son, Tim, who we'll learn more about in this story. The videos featured hockey highlights and fights set to rock and techno music. And I just remember when those first videos came out, they were so much fun to go get and watch. Like my buddies and I watched every single one of them when
that was like a famous Christmas present to get somebody. Was
every year. That's true.
Rock and Sock'em hockey. Victor, did you get? I'm sure you still own many of those, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There was
unfortunately,
30 renditions of it.
Yeah. They're on video cassette. I should probably digitize those, but yeah.
You can probably get them all on YouTube now.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. I haven't really thought about it in a long time, but yeah, I had lots of fun. I don't remember missing a single year with those coming out every year.
I had no idea they went right up until 2018. Like I probably stopped watching them when they were still on VHS. So yeah, but they were fun. Like it was mostly fights and
yeah, it was basically a highlight reel of the year.
No, there was highlights of goals and plays.
Yeah, they were, but the fights were definitely featured heavily.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was the Sock'em part of Rock'em. All right. Early in his junior career, Don gets called up by the Bruins to play a game in Montreal. Victor, he did play a game in Montreal. There were only 6 teams in the AHL at the time, which meant there were only 36 available positions on defense, and Don was bent on taking one of them. Don had a good showing in this game against Montreal, and after the game, the Bruins coach let him know they noticed him and tells him they have plans for him in Boston next season, tells him to be ready for training camp. He also tells Don that they know he likes to play baseball in the offseason, but they ask him, don't play baseball this offseason. Don agrees. He says, okay. But then we cut to the very next scene.
Idiot.
So dumb.
And for those of you listening,
I got it! I know what you're asking, and I can't give you an answer. I don't know why I did it, but the hockey gods weren't happy, and they made me pay.
Well, Don, you managed to separate your shoulder. We're going to have to open you up, put in a piece of metal belt so big.
I got the Bruins training camp coming up.
Which is when?
Well, a couple months, but I got to get in shape.
Well, you can't do anything until that shoulder heals. No work, no running, nothing. Otherwise, you run the risk of reopening the wound.
No, the doctor was trying to help, but he didn't know nothing about hockey.
all right, those who are listening and not watching that video, Don was playing baseball. He was in the outfield. Somebody hit a pop fly. Don went and dove for the ball and separated his shoulder. And that's we'll find out whether that hurt his chances in Boston Bruin training camp the next season. But I love how it cut as soon as he says okay to not playing baseball, they cut right to the game where he injures himself. Victor, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, this is I guess the first Charlie Brown football scene, right? It's like you have your chance to make it, and you're probably not going to get another chance, and you basically went and done that. Mm-hmm. Just at least wait until you're in the league till you start doing stupid things like Jack Hughes, who injures himself eating steak. But to do that.
What?
Yeah, Jack Hughes got injured eating steak this year. He was gone for, I think,
injure themselves eating steak.
It was they went to a restaurant after or before a game, and he ended up cutting his hand, and he was gone for like a couple of months, ruined his season.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. At his, team dinner, he injured himself.
That's crazy.
So there you go. Make it to the show before you start doing stupid things. And,
Well, that was back in a time too, though, when players used training camp to get in shape, and the fact that he couldn't even make the team, but it was also six teams. So that was probably why it was harder to make the NHL. Yeah.
The pop-up baseball reminded me of our first trip to Sudbury when
Victor almost got killed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
right.
Oh my God, what a flashback seeing that ball come up in the air out of like nowhere. And yeah, poor Victor almost got it.
Lost Victor that day.
Head.
All right, cut to the next scene where we see Don training to get ready for training camp. He's running in the woods. He's in obvious pain and his shoulder's still bleeding from surgery. Then the Bruins training camp, Don obviously still injured. I always want to say Shorzy because it's Schizo.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's still injured. He goes down after throwing a check and he can't even shoot the puck without wincing in pain. Next scene, we see Don waking up in his hotel room, shoulder still bloody, and looking out the window to see the Bruins bus leaving without him. So, having ruined his chance, he went back to playing in the American Hockey League for Hershey. That's where we meet his defense partner, Larry Zeidel, played by veteran Canadian actor Sean Bell, known for Bulletproof, Monk, and Paradise Falls. Larry was a wild card. You never knew what he would do next. He played a great crazy character. We're shown in this scene where an opposing player taunts Larry and Larry hits him in the face with his stick, shades of Sly Silvestri maybe. After that, none of the opposing players went near Larry. In the locker room, after the game, we see a senior player, Andy Brannigan, sharing some wisdom with Don, showing him how to properly tape his wrists so he doesn't break them, and also adding extra cotton to the knee pads. Cut to the bar where the players are having a few pops after the game. A waitress, by the way, Don Cherry used to call beer pops in case those were wondering they were drinking pop. No, they were drinking beer, but that's what they called them. A waitress offers. You never know. Different audiences may not refer to it that way. A waitress offers Don and his pals another round, and they all say yes, but Don uses his manners. He says yes and please, which impresses her. Doesn't take much. They continue talking about the latest call up to the Bruins club. This is where Don learns that he's in Boston's bad books. He missed his one shot. Before Don can feel sorry for himself, the waitress returns with their drinks. She wouldn't normally do this, but since Don is such a polite young man, she'd like to introduce him to her niece. Don agrees tentatively, and this pleases the waitress because her niece is actually in the bar tonight. Don wasn't expecting to meet her so soon, but the guys get up from the table, help Don with his jacket, and send him on his way before he can say no. And this is where we meet Rose.
Rosemary, I want you to meet Don Cherry. He plays hockey for the Hershey Bears. Hello, Don.
She couldn't have weighed 100 pounds. You still remember what she was wearing? Still remember what was playing on the jukebox? Hi, Rose. And you know how they say you'll know when you know? Well, I knew. She was someone special.
And when we talk about Don being on Hockey Night in Canada for 20 years and all the stories he told and stuff and how famous he was, Rose was just as famous, if not just by name. Like everyone knew Rose. He mentioned her in many of his stories, and they stayed together right until she passed away, a few years back. So it's a pretty great love story. Like they stayed together through thick and thin. They're like, whatever he did or said, it didn't matter. And you'll learn in these movies that she was his rock and put up with a lot of shit.
It was nice to hear Don Cherry talk about the actress and how just watching her play Rose, it just brought all the memories back, and he felt that he was, looking at his wife, like remembering everything. So that entry that's available with those with the clips that we have, you should, if you haven't, you should listen to them. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance. I wanted to before we did this, but I ran out of time.
Maybe that can be another episode.
Yeah,
where
maybe. Yeah. But anyway, Rose, by the way, is played by Sarah Manninen.
That's it, Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a Canadian actor known for The Prince and Me and My Awkward Sexual Adventure and many others. But those are her known mostly for credits. Don sits there awkwardly in silence, and Rose has to initiate the conversation. Turns out she's never been to a hockey game before. Her father likes football. It's funny watching this. It occurred to me she was American. Like I didn't even think that she would have been, because
she's from Hershey.
Yeah, she's from Hershey, Pennsylvania, obviously. But in all the years that we've ever known her. Like I just figured, he met her up here, but no. She's never been to a hockey game. Her father likes football. Dawn offers her tickets to the next game, and Rose would love to go, but Dawn would have to meet her parents first. Otherwise, she can't go. It was indeed a different time. Dawn agrees.
I just love that. I don't know what it is. I'm so old fashioned when it comes to that just gave me the giggle. Like it just gives me the
Tanya,
warm fuzzies.
but and we'll get to this scene later on,
right?
Where it's like, wait a second, I was totally surprised by the part that we're going to review,
right?
All right.
Yeah.
Soon, because it's a complete opposite of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that he's what?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we'll get to it.
All right. Cut to the game. Rose watches excitedly with her friend. The two leave before the game ends. Don lines up at a face-off, and when the puck drops, he squares off with another player. Rose doesn't see any of this. She's already in the tunnel when they hear the crowd go wild because of the fight. She wonders if Don just scored a goal. Cut to Rose's family's house. Her mother prepares dinner while Rose anxiously waits for Don. It's clear her mom isn't thrilled that she's bringing home a hockey player. Rose's father reassures the mother their niece wouldn't introduce Rose to some barbarian. And just then the doorbell rings. The parents answer and are greeted by Don sporting a cut lip and a shiner from his fight. Cut to the dinner table. Everyone's eating quietly. Rose's mother eyes Don suspiciously. And finally, her father breaks the silence.
That's quite a shiner you got there.
Yeah.
And a big cut, too.
Yes, I know. Thanks.
So, how many stitches is that?
Well, that one's 6. I think this one's only 2.
Did you get it with a puck?
No, sir.
A stick?
Nope.
How'd you get it then?
Well, I forgot the duck. Hey?
Donna, you're bleeding.
Oh.
So, you were fighting?
Yes, ma'am. It, happens.
How come you fight? You get mad?
Well, no, I didn't get mad. I guess some guy was just looking for trouble and he found it.
What do you think of that scene there, Tan?
The sister doing the sign of the cross. The mannerisms at the table, and even Kiso playing, the like, yep, nope. And it was just it's such a great scene, setting up for who he is and who the family is. And it's a great scene.
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could have not shown up. Would have been an option, but instead he owned it, man. He just he didn't try to hide it. He just when they asked the questions, they asked direct questions. He gave direct answers, and love or hate why it happened. You got to respect the hell out of the fact that he just leaned in. I'm like, well, he found trouble.
Yeah.
That was it. And no, I thought that was great. It was a great dynamic. It introduces him to the family in the most awkward way imaginable. And assuming if that's how it truly happened, that is fantastic. I can't imagine a more horrific way to first meet a family. But it's again, it sets who he is for them.
Sure.
So they know what they're getting. They know what they're all getting into.
Well, Rose didn't seem to know what it was that he did. Or that
she hadn't seen him fight yet. No, because they left before the fight started. So, Victor, what do you think?
Yeah, it was good. What I enjoyed is kind of the lead up to in that whole scene and the banter before he even showed up.
Yeah.
I thought that was, it's almost kind of, they were foreshadowing exactly what was going to happen, but it was fantastic. I loved the banter and the mom, the facial expressions, everything about it was good. And then, the scene around the table, it's kind of a scene that probably we've seen in many different movies, except what's fun about this one is that it may be true, right? Because I mean, everything we're watching is probably dramatized a bit.
And through the lens of a storyteller like Don Cherry
Exactly,
to his son and then his son rewriting it. Like watching this whole thing just reminds me of a phrase that Toronto Mike's been using a lot lately, and that's print the legend, you know, not the truth. Sometimes it's like, yes, I think they're printing the legend here, but you know,
or don't let the facts stand in the way of a good story.
And that
right?
too. Yeah, exactly.
And this scene also kind of quickly reminded me of like, if you take a first date to like a crab boil just to see how it all goes down, right? So if you can walk away and still be into her at the end of that, or into him at the end of that, you got something that's a winning solution at that point. So
I love the mom's line of, so you get mad? Like what, you got angry or something or whatever the line was.
And his response to it was perfect. Somebody's just looking for trouble and he found it. Again, like, for somebody who back in the day is shown as not being much of a talker, he certainly had the perfect line loaded up for that, you know, for that question. Right. So, all right, here we go. Rose's dad thinks Don, asks Don what he does in the offseason. Don goes back up to Kingston and works construction. After dinner, Rose and Don sit outside in a swing to debrief. Don doesn't think things went too well. Rose asks Don why he fights. He can't like it, can he? But Don says he does. He's a fighter. It's his job. It's not how many you win. It's how many you show up for. Rose jokes that judging by his eye, he needs to work on his fighting skills. That scene there on the swing, and I'm going to say it like the kids would say today, gives the scene of Shoresy and Laura Moore on the steps of the Colson when he's about to retire. And he talks about why he needs to fight and why he still plays hockey. Does it not? Like...
fair.
It's exactly not exactly, but it has that the feel from that scene right away. Next scene in the locker room after another game, Don comes in with a cut above his eye to get stitched up. As his teammates walk in, they give him shit and take turns begging him as he's getting stitched up. They're throwing towels between his legs, and he's trying not to move because there's a guy with a needle trying to thread his forehead shut. Cut to the next scene. Don is in his kitchen with Rose, and she's removing his stitches very tentatively. She's never had to do this before.
Oh, you poked my eye out.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. You didn't really poke my eye out. I won't do that again. I won't do that again. Come on.
All these cuts, I'm amazed you don't have any scars.
Yeah, it's an old player's trick. You take the stitches out after not too long, like 2 or 3 days, and then you put cocoa butter on it.
Cocoa butter?
Yeah, works every time. All right, what's taking so long up there?
They're so tiny.
You just snip and pull. That's all you do.
There's still a little blood. I don't know, maybe we should
Rose, just do it. Come on. Just do it. Get in there. Pitter patter.
Pitter patter.
There you go.
I love how pleased with herself she looks when she finally gets that stitch out. Oh, no, it's not in this one. Sorry. It's in the future one where she gets better at it. She looks very pleased with every stitch she removes. There it is. Pitter patter. I believe that the utterance of that phrase in this movie predates Letterkenny, if I'm not mistaken. But Tanya, did you catch it when it was?
Oh, 100%. I did. And I'm wondering if Kiso had to ask permission to use pitter patter then in Letterkenny, because he even has it on t-shirts, pitter patter.
Pitter patter doesn't belong to this movie, though.
No, it doesn't. And actually, Awesome saying in the live stream, Kiso had a coach as a kid who would say pitter patter, let's get at her. So that's where he got it from. So it could be that it was an ad lib that he added in the Don Cherry movie, right? Like maybe it wasn't written. But
I mean, I'll be honest, I grew up with that phrase. My dad used to say that. Pitter patter, let's get at her. Like that's not an uncommon older saying.
Right.
It's just he's keeping it alive.
Yeah.
So, some say there's no coincidences.
All right, next scene at another hockey game with Rose in the stands. Don gets into another fight. You can tell Rose is getting used to the game. She knows exactly how many stitches Don's going to need after the fight. And we see Rose expertly removing Don's stitches again after the game, or in a few days later in the kitchen again. Next scene is the end of the season, and Don says goodbye to Rose as he leaves for Kingston for the offseason. Then we see Don in Kingston operating a jackhammer at his summer job in construction. After his shift on his walk home, Don stops in front of a jewelry store window and stares. Cut to Don arriving back in Hershey at Rose's family's home. It's early. He's driven all night. Rose's father answers the door. Don asks to speak with Rose. She comes to the door still in hairnet and robe. Don invites her out to the porch, shows her an engagement ring without saying anything. Rose immediately excitedly says yes. They both go inside where the rest of the family celebrate, even the mother. Next scene, we get a montage set to Rockin' Robin. By the way, the soundtrack in this series, nothing but, 1950s bangers. Like it was nothing but really well-known songs. I wonder how much money they spent on the soundtrack. We get a montage set to Rockin' Robin showing Rose getting used to being a player's wife. First in the bar having drinks with the players after the game. Then we jump forward in time to a baby shower for their first daughter named Cindy. Rose at the table with Cindy, her mom, and the hockey wives, while the players are in the other room toasting beers. And then the team leaving on road trips on the bus while the wives and children wave goodbye. In the NHL, they travel all day by bus and play at night. Don tells a story of how it was his brilliant idea to hang a bag of beers out the bus window to keep them ice cold. Don's defensive partner, Zidell, sits beside him and accuses him of trying to beat him in the race for the most penalty minutes in the season to get his name in the paper. They arrive at Springfield for the game, and that's where we first meet Eddie Shore, played by Stephen McHattie, a veteran Canadian actor known for The Fountain, Shoot 'Em Up, and Watchmen. And here is Eddie Shore.
Mr. Brunswick, you go down to your knees too much. Now this. Now. Yeah. This will help you. Stay on your feet.
Eddie Shore, the Edmonton Express. Fractured his hip.
All right, Mr. Brunswick.
Fractured his back and broke his nose 14 times. One of the greatest players in the history of hockey turned out to be one of the most feared owners.
Stay up.
He ran the practices, told the coaches what to do, even changed the light bulbs in the arena. You believe that?
On your feet.
If you played for Springfield and Eddie Shore said jump, you said sure, Eddie. How high you want me to go?
That's why I got it in my contract. I can't be traded to any team Shore owns or coaches.
Stay on your feet.
Poor bastard.
All right, so much insanity in that scene. First of all, I mean, nowadays, like it was.
Well, I think you need to close caption that one because did it say
okay,
what
you're
was
right.
happening?
You're good point. So Eddie Shore is trying to help a young goalie stay on his feet, and back then it was a no to go down on your knees as a goalie. You needed to be a stand-up goalie for many reasons. One of them is the fact that you're not wearing a freaking mask or helmet.
That was the reason.
There's many reasons, but that's one reason. If you go down, you increase your chances of getting hit in the face with a puck. And as a goalie, you don't want to do that. But the other reason is it was thought that you were a better goaltender if you stayed on your feet. It's obviously been proven wrong now with the butterfly style, like proliferate, like no one stays on their feet. They all go down now, on their knees and butterfly style. So there's that. And there's also the idea of a coach tying a noose to the net, which is what he did to try to keep this goalie from going down on his knees, tied a noose to the back of the net. And then he would purposely shoot the puck so that the goalie would have to reach for it down, but not go on his knees. And if he did, he'd basically hang himself and have to pop back up so he doesn't, hang himself. Anyway, it's such a crazy, but it's funny though, because, and I mentioned this, like in the 20 years Don Cherry was doing Coach's Corner, I've probably heard that story spoken to, many times, and then seeing in movie form. It's one of the many stories that he loved saying, talking about Eddie Shore.
It's nuts.
And the other thing is his name is Eddie Shore.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so discuss, Victor.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Shoresy is not based on Eddie Shore, but again, I think it's almost like like paying it forward or paying it back to kind of name kind of this goofy character after Shore.
Yeah.
Like all the dots are connecting, and who knows what was kind of going through Kiso's head in development of Shoresy and Letterkenny. But this he's clearly, and as we'll continue to discuss and review the movie, the character of Shoresy is the origin story has got to be Don Cherry. But the naming him Shore, I feel like it's almost like signifying kind of the villain with that name. And so it's probably not very deep. It's probably just he's a villain and a villain character, and we'll give him that name. Obviously in Shoresy he's no longer a villain, but too bad, so sad.
But he's go on, Matt.
Well, I was just going to add a bit to that. I mean, like, and we think, we obviously don't know the whole timeline, but like Shoresy first was introduced in Letterkenny, and at that point, perhaps may not have had intentions on building a spin-off series from day one, right? So in Letterkenny, he's absolutely just like the biggest piece of shit in hockey, right? And Eddie Shore is absolutely portrayed
as the biggest piece of shit, yeah.
Right? So like, I think it's not a far stretch by any means. I think that's where he's like, who's the biggest piece of shit? Well, it was Eddie Shore. I'm calling this guy Shoresy. And now they go, now we got to make a show about him. So we got to flip the script a bit. But it was fucking, that's ruthless, man. by any scale. I kind of feel like Brad Bonello might introduce this in his practices with his team, but who knows?
To be clear, I think he coaches like 12-year-olds, but
I know. Hey, I'm not saying I condone it.
No. I'll ask him when we finally have our lunch. Right? Tan, I mean, you caught the whole Shore thing right away.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. But I felt like even when we were in Sudbury and walking around, I think I was with Matt and I was like, look at that name, because there was like familiar things that were in and around that you could pull back to Letterkenny and Shoresy. So yeah, I think Kiso is I think he pulls a Kaiser Sose on all of us, and he just like scans everything and then just throws it in there.
Nice. All right, cut to the game. Don gets into a fight and gets sent to the penalty box, which happens to be the same box the guy he was fighting was also sent to.
That was so. Sorry, go ahead.
So this is something that actually happened. The penalty boxes used to be either beside each other or even connected, right? And I love when the guy sitting between them notices what's about to happen. He's like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here." And
do you have that scene?
I don't, unfortunately.
Oh my God, that was such a perfect scene because all he did was smile. And it was like, well, that was nice. Or
no, it wasn't.
And just the referee standing right up and leaving. And then who was coming to the rescue to break them up? Referees?
No, it was a cop that finally hit not Shoresy, Don over the head with the blackjack and said, "That's enough out of you." And
he takes the door.
Yeah. Oh, then so yeah, we haven't even got to that part yet. So Don gets into a fight, sent to the penalty box, which happens to be the same box as the guy he was fighting. So they continue hostilities in the box. Eddie Shore makes note of this, and then Don's teammate also takes note and accuses Don of trying to get kicked out of the game and make the news favors. So he decided he would top Don's crazy, and he decided to remove the penalty box door from its hinges and throw it onto the ice. So he gets kicked out as well. It was awesome.
I mean, they keep saying hockey's got a bad rap, but we've come a long way.
Yeah, it's true. By the way, and I wanted to comment too on the production design on this show. The chain link fence, because this is obviously an era before there was a such thing as plexiglass, right? So yeah, that's what hockey rinks had, was chain link. So when you got checked into that and you got your face,
I didn't even
rubbed into that
for some
it's
reason.
Chain link fencing that you're hitting, right? It's crazy, like that's what they were playing in. It was like they were playing in a cage. They were cage fighters. All right, next scene. Don walks into the kitchen where Rose is feeding Cindy. He opens a piece of mail and learns that he's been traded to Springfield. That's Eddie Shore's team. This wasn't something Rose was expecting. Another lesson she learned was that hockey players get traded, and then you have to go. Next scene, we see Don and Rose saying goodbye to the Rose family as they move to Springfield. Cut to Springfield locker room where the players get ready to practice. Don learns that Eddie, he's a bit of a cheapskate owner. Practice sweaters stink because they don't get washed. There's no money for tape for their socks, so that they need to use inner tubes because they're reusable. Don finally takes the ice for practice. Yeah. Don finally takes the ice for practice, and Shore is there waiting for him.
I could tell from the first time I laid eyes on you, Madagascar, that you do not bend your knees when you skate.
Madagascar? If the coach wanted to scare a player, he'd say, smarten up or I'll send you to Eddie Shore.
Mr. Cherry, bend your knees!
See the chin?
The object of the man on defense is to take the puck away as you eliminate your opponent from the play. Don't make it so I have to scheme him off the boards. Go again! Madagascar! In most hockey players' hands, a hockey stick is a scientific tool. In yours, it's a blunt instrument. 2-on-1s.
Okay, a couple of observations for this. First of all, again, I'm going to use young people's parlance here. This scene gives the whole scene in The Simpsons where who was it? Burns, who's coaching the baseball team, keeps on yelling at Daryl Strawberry to shave his sideburns, and he's like, I did shave him, and every time you see him, he's like, his sideburns are shorter and shorter up to the point where like the whole side of his head shaved. I told you to shave your sideburns, and he's like, I did. Like what? Anyway, that's what I got from that scene. The other thing, though, I think watching that is looking at how the hockey is shot. Obviously, those are all actual players, in those acting roles. They're not saying anything, but they're able to shoot the players like full, top to bottom without having to cut because they're actual players. So I feel like that might be something that, Jared borrowed for Shoresy as well. Victor, what'd you think of the scene?
Yeah, it was great. We're, finally getting introduced to Shore, the character, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just looking at him from the sidelines of what he's doing to somebody else, now he's interacting directly with Cherry, and we're getting the Madagascar. So at this point, we're wondering what does he mean by that. We find that out later, but yeah, I mean, he's presenting himself as a real piece of shit, and he's doing a fantastic job.
Matt, did you catch that that Simpsons reference?
No, well, when you said it, yeah, I get what you're saying. I didn't catch it in the moment. I mean, just meeting Shore in this whole scene is like the Madagascar thing was cracking me right up. As I keep talking about the filming of this too, the only thing I kept telling myself the whole time, because like, let's not kid ourselves, Canadian content often has that look. The budget's not there, but this whole movie or miniseries or whatever, up until now, and I'm assuming it's going to continue, feels like one gigantic Canadian heritage moment.
Right? It's got that look, doesn't it? It's got that.
Oh my God.
Like I keep waiting for the border to appear.
Oh my God.
Like if it was there the whole time.
Yeah. So the color grading will change as the
eras change
as we move decades, but they've done an absolutely incredible job color grading it to the times.
The set decoration, everything. It's
the production design I think has been really, really top notch. Tan, what do you think?
It's the hockey. It's like it's full out players, running the lines and skating. And it just reminds me of what Kiso said, that he was going to make himself a hockey show. And have hockey players, not actors, playing hockey and bringing us the real deal. And this just, goes back to hockey, just pure like running the lines. Like it's not that I'm a lover of sports or whatever, but it has that kind of nostalgia.
Yeah. All right. During one of Shore's many sessions of berating Don's skating, Don notices a player skating backwards towards Shore. He doesn't warn him. He simply steps out of the way and watches as Shore gets leveled by the other player and falls on his face. This puts Don on the Black Aces, which were players on Shore's doghouse. Next scene, Rose bathes Cindy in the kitchen sink while listening to the game on the radio. Don gets hurt during a play. Rose is concerned at first, but then she's startled by a mouse scurrying past her. After the game, Don removes his sock, revealing a very broken little toe, or as Victor would call it, a pinky.
No, he would call it a toe finger.
A toe finger, yes.
Finger toe.
Finger toe, right. Whatever. Shore orders Don to repeat practice to come to practice the next day. He knows how to cure a broken toe. Don arrives home limping. Rose asks Don to put out a trap for the mouse. He doesn't. Then he does, and then barely gets to bed before he hears the trap snap. Don empties the trap into a jar and resets it, only to hear it snap almost immediately after. The game of trap and mouse continues all night until the jar is full of dead mice the next morning. Don's exhausted, but shows up for practice and to have his broken toe healed by Shore. A trainer brings in 2 buckets of water, one hot, the other with ice water. Shore orders Don to dip his foot in the hot water. Reluctantly, Don obeys. You can tell it's very painful. Then Shore orders Don to switch to the cold water. He does this. This happens a couple more times before Don finally springs to his feet and walks away saying, "It's a miracle, Shore. It works every time." Cut to Don gingerly putting on his skates. Of course, his little toe is still broken. Next scene, while Don complains about Shore to Rose as she removes his stitches, they get a phone call from Shore inviting them down to the rink. All the players and their wives have been invited. Rosie wonders, is it a little party? It isn't.
Sit down, everyone. Sit down. Sit down. Now, we have a significant stretch coming up. We need to win these next few games to stay on the hunt for first place. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have to tell you that our play lately has been substandard. And I think I know why. You women have been giving these players too much sex. And I want it to stop now! And you, O'Connor, the idea that you could get married just before the season, is it any wonder you're playing like you have no legs? I want you to send your wife home tomorrow.
All Shore needed to say there was, "You've already played a period between the sheets." Like I was waiting for that to happen, right? But once again, another kind of
definite connection there.
I mean, it's a connection. It's part of the whole lore of hockey, right? Like,
well, sports in general.
Yeah, you're right.
Very common.
Like before a big game, you're not supposed to have sex or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that Shore would have the audacity to not only forbid his players from or demand the players' wives to not give the players sex.
I just love that.
But also demand the newlyweds.
Individually called them all and said, "Hey, come on down."
Yeah.
And then, assuming this story actually happened, this is like, this would be a core memory the rest of my life. Like, the day my coach called me in, and I'd be telling this tale like Don Cherry forever.
Yeah. Victor, what do you think?
I guess I missed an opportunity during our one-on-ones and year-end reviews to, say, Al, you haven't been concentrating. Your performance has not been up to par.
Victor, if you had never done that, I dare say your career trajectory would have been much different than what it's become.
Oh my God.
Oh man, no, that was I loved that nobody had a clue as to why they were there,
Yeah.
and then when he said what he said, just the expressions on the women's faces, was
appalled.
priceless.
They were all appalled. The guys were smirking because nothing Shore does or says surprises them anymore, except the newlywed who's been told to send his wife home.
And you can tell like nobody had a clue what to say. Like, what would you say in that scenario?
Oh, what could you say?
Exactly what was said.
Yeah.
You just sit there in silence.
Stunned silence.
So this scene reminds me so much of my father.
Oh man.
Do you know why? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I know why.
Yeah. So my dad made a joke about sex at our wedding
during his speech.
Attaboy.
Sorry to hear that.
Which is so, but just this guy's mannerisms, how he just barks out his idea, and that's how it is, and that's how my father is. Like that's exactly how he would, you know, get his point across, and would just be like, oh my, I don't even know what you can't say these things. But anyways,
it's definitely a different time. You can say whatever the fuck you wanted to with no consequence. Yeah. All right. The players meet up at the bar after the meeting to complain about Shore, but we find out later the player who was ordered to send his new wife home did what he was told, and they still lost their next 4 games in a row anyway. We jump to the beginning of year 5. Don is happy.
That didn't work.
No, it didn't work. It was shocking, right? We jump to the beginning of year 5. Don is happy because the Indians have a new coach, Punch Imlach, played by Craig Eldridge, known for the long kiss goodnight and the tuxedo. Don credits Punch as the greatest coach he's ever played for. Production note, Punch Imlach coached the Toronto Maple Leafs to 4 Stanley Cup wins, including their last win in 1967. That's right. He is a Toronto legend for being the last one to actually coach him.
In what year?
67 was the last.
67.
Yeah.
And I believe Punch came back to coach again in the early 80s or late 70s or whatever, but he didn't have the quite
Is
the
he
same.
still around?
No, he's long gone.
Right up there with Buzz Aldrin, who came after.
That's so crazy that it's been that long. Are we the longest running team that has not won?
Apart from some teams that have never won.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Canucks who won as the Millionaires, I think 1902 or something stupid like that, but that doesn't count.
No.
Yeah.
All right, Shore is about to berate Don for not bending his knees when he skates, when Punch interrupts him. And by the way, the guy's name's Punch. Like, I know it's his nickname, but anyway, Punch interrupts him.
Punch.
And lets Shore know that he's the coach. So if he's got something to say to his players, he needs to say it to Punch. This obviously doesn't make Shore very happy, but since most of his players are the property of the Boston Bruins, and that's who hired Punch to coach the team, then he's in charge. So Shore begrudgingly gives in. Next scene we get is this great interaction between Punch and Don negotiating his next contract.
Your contract for this year, Donald. Right. You're not going to negotiate?
What, you going to pay me more?
No.
And what's the point?
Yeah. Don, I'm going to make it to the NHL, and I think you can too. You've got something.
All right, Punch. You know, that kind of encouragement from a guy like Punch meant a lot. Maybe I still had a shot.
Next scene, it's the final game of the playoffs. Punch walks into the dressing room, dumps a bunch of cash onto the table to try to motivate them, says the other team is wanting to take that cash away from them and their families. This gets the team riled up. Unfortunately, not enough to get them over the hump. They end up losing in the final in the dressing room. After the game, Punch goes around congratulating everyone on the great season. Shore walks in the team and Punch congratulates Punch on a pretty good year. Punch doesn't come back the next season, though. Instead, Pat Egan becomes their new coach, played by Robert Hochelack, known for Capote and Perfect Sisters. Unfortunately, Egan is completely in Shore's pocket, and things go back to Shore terrorizing the players, including Don. Egan informs Don he's not dressing for the next game. The team loses their next game, and Shore suspends Don for indifferent play, even though he didn't even play in the game. During the team's next practice, Don is so angry with Egan, he checks him behind the net. As a result of the humiliation, Don gets traded to Three Rivers in Quebec, which is not an NHL team. Not an AHL team. On his way out, Don confronts Shore, asks him why he called Don Madagascar. Shore responds, because that's where he would have sent Don if he could. I was a little kind of let down with that explanation. That's it. That's why he called him Madagascar. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, that's where you wonder, like, how much of that is true, and was it even did it even happen? Right? Like, maybe it was just made for the story.
Maybe. Don goes home and breaks the news to Rose, who takes him in stride. On the bright side, at least he's getting away from Shore. Don hadn't even considered that. Playing anywhere, even in Madagascar, would be better than playing for Eddie Shore. Cut to somewhere in Quebec. Don, Rose, and Cindy are having a hard time finding Three Rivers. They're at a gas station gassing up. Things are getting tense. Then their car won't start. No one speaks English, and the station closes before they can find a mechanic, eat, or ask for directions. They think they're stranded in the middle of the night in the middle of Quebec. Don steps out of the car to cool off, then gets back in. They have a religious moment where they pray for the car to start, and of course it miraculously does. They drive through the night and then finally to Three Rivers in time for Don to drop Rose and Cindy off at a motel so he can go play his first game with his new team. After the game, Don is invited for drinks. We don't even know about the game, whether they win or not. I guess it doesn't really matter. But after the game, Don is invited for drinks to celebrate. He reluctantly agrees, and they go to the bar, and Don regales his new teammates with stories of him playing for Eddie Shore and all the crazy things he put them through. They think the stories are hilarious. And then Don realizes the time he gets back to Rose and Cindy, but not before one of his new teammates says goodbye, calling him Grapes. Don doesn't get the new nickname. The player, whose first language is clearly not English, says, yeah, cherry, grapes, get it? He didn't get it, but he was in a rush, so he left. Yeah, so for those of you who may not know, Don Cherry's nickname is Grapes. He's known as Grapes, and apparently that's the origin of the nickname. Not like a French Canadian decided that cherries and grapes were the same, were similar enough.
There's grape tomatoes, but I don't know.
Anyway, Don arrives back at the motel late, only to find
that's what it is.
What?
There's grape tomatoes and there's cherry tomatoes, and clearly this guy confused the two and called them grapes because of that grape tomato and cherry tomato combination.
None of that.
Maybe
makes it
because
better.
grapes and cherries have have a pit.
I don't know. Maybe the French word for grapes and the French word for cherries is similar. I don't know. No.
Oh, that's a lookup.
Grape is raisin. Cherry is not raisin. So I don't know. Oh, man. Anyway, Don arrives back at the motel late, only to find an upset and hungry Rose and Cindy. It's Sunday evening, and everything in Quebec is closed. They haven't eaten since dinner the previous night. Don feels terrible. He takes Rose and Cindy back to the bar he just left. The players.
Do you remember back when everything was closed on a Sunday?
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Like everything was closed.
I remember that too. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I know. I'm the young guy here, so I just want to let you know that I do also remember that.
It was so a thing. It was like it was a thing. You had to get out and get whatever you needed because nothing was open on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I remember when
Chinese restaurants were still open.
Yeah, one of the first things I remember starting to open on Sundays were Tim Hortons, actually.
Yeah,
like something
tracks.
they would be open for drive-through and stuff. I'm like, oh, look at that.
For breakfast, maybe, and lunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. They're back at the bar. The players welcome Grapes back. Rose sits with the player wives, and they welcome her and give her and Cindy food. Next up, we get a multiple year time jump showing Don's nomadic moves across the hockey landscape. He only spends 1 year in Three Rivers and then a stop in Kitchener, Ontario in year 7. Rose loved that stop best. Shout out to our buddy Colin. Then year 8 in Sudbury. Shout out to Michelle, where it was so cold, Don says he saw a tree explode.
Is that a thing?
I don't think so, but Don Cherry thinks it is. Then in year 9, Don found himself back in Springfield and once again under the thumb of Eddie Shore. Egan was still coach, which means Don was still suspended without pay. During a game where Don wasn't playing, he saw Punch Imlach in the tunnel. Punch had gone on to coach with the Leafs already. He notices Don and goes over to say hi. He asks Don how he's doing and even asks about Rose and the family by name. Don lies and says everything's good. Punch wishes Don luck as he leaves. After a stop in Spokane, Don ends up in Rochester for his 10th season. It is when they finally decide to buy a house and put down some roots, and they have their second child, Tim. Tim is the one who wrote them and produced these movies and all the Rock'em Sock'em hockey videos and everything. That's when Punch gives Don a lifetime opportunity to scrimmage with the Maple Leafs. During the scrimmage, Don thinks it's his last chance to make an impression with an NHL club.
Now, you see that young Ron Ellis? Believe me, he is going to be one of the greats. I know there's been a lot of talk about college, but don't put any stock in that rumor. He'll stay. I'll make him an offer he won't be able to say no to.
When I saw Ellis skating with his head down, I just couldn't resist. I figured checking the big star would get me noticed. Oh, yeah. Got me noticed, all right.
Get that 50-cent hockey player off the ice before he kills my $1 million hockey player.
And that's the origin story of 50 Cent.
Look at the foreshadowing on Ron Ellis, eh? Like on how famous he was going to be.
Oh, yeah. Well, he did end up having a great career. So luckily, Don Cherry did not end his career.
Didn't Ron Ellis play in the... No. Am I mixing that up?
No. Well, Ron Ellis became a great Maple Leaf. But yeah, Don Cherry didn't end Ron Ellis's career. He only ended his own career.
That's right.
With that
was,
one.
Another football
Exactly. Yeah. So after the humiliating scrimmage, Don went back to Rochester and assumed the role of wise old veteran, showing players how to add extra cotton to their knee pads, just like the veteran did for him all those seasons ago back in Hershey. Don seemed right at home in the role as mentor. Rochester coach Joe Crozier, played by Chris Sigurdsson, a veteran Canadian actor known for The Porter and Night Hunter, confides in Don on how he's dealing with the players. Don sees how he deals with players, and he isn't a fan. But Crozier asks the players to vote for a new team captain, and Don wins unanimously. Which, with Don as their captain, the Rochester Americans win the Calder Cup in 1965, 66, and 68. And that's where we're going to stop for this first movie. So this is the first half of the first movie. And
first quarter.
So the first quarter of the movie, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
We're going to stop there.
The mini-series.
Yeah. The mini-series. Yeah. Oh, I don't have my horn call because I'm on my Letterkenny soundboard. But anyway, we're not going to do any ratings today, but let's just talk about what we've seen so far. I guess the lineup started with me. So my observations so far in this, love the production design. I think it's funny you say, I think it was Matt, you said it reminds you of the heritage moments.
Canadian
You're
heritage.
so right. It so does. It's got that same feel and texture and color grading and all that stuff.
I'm just waiting for someone to call out asking if they smell burnt toast.
Yeah. Really well done. But I'm enjoying it so far. And I mean, Kiso does a great impression of Don Cherry. He doesn't look like Cherry at all if you look at old pictures of Don Cherry, but after a while it doesn't matter because he's embodied the character and has done a great job. The actress who plays Rose is amazing. She's very charismatic. I love the job she's doing so far, and the Punch Imlach character is as despicable as you want him to be. Eddie Shore. Eddie Shore is as despicable as you want him to be. Punch is actually, it's really well done. So far, it's really well done. And I've been really enjoying it. And just the whole era of it, thinking you can cure a broken toe with hot and cold water is ridiculous. Just the way things are with, courting rituals back then, or kind of ridiculous as well. Victor, you had a comment. I think you said that something happened.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get to it yet.
Oh, it's not there.
It will be in part 2, but let's, so let's not talk about it now, but we'll definitely circle back.
But so far the whole period and era of it is a lot of fun to watch. And again, if you don't know anything about Don Cherry, then this may not mean anything to you, but so far it's been enjoyable, and it's all kind of lining up. But then we're also all seeing all these connections to Letterkenny and Shoresy and what Kiso's going to go on to do. Matt, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've always said I'm not a sports guy, but I like a good sports story. And getting to see this one of a name of someone who I've always known my whole life, whether I watch sports or not, it's interesting. It's good, seeing how far he truly dated back. Even learning something as simple as he never actually played the NHL, with the exception, I guess, that one game. Was interesting. I always just assumed he was a player. I know he became a coach and then a broadcaster and all that, but I was assumed he was a player. So that alone was an interesting fact to me. The look and feel of it is very very nice to watch, and I can't help it. I'm not sure. You said something that Toronto Mike said, something about tell the legend, not what was the line?
Print the legend, not the truth. And
print the legend, not the truth. So as I'm watching this and knowing, I definitely have heard Don Cherry speak and all that. The movie kind of reminds me. Have you ever see the movie Big Fish?
Oh yeah.
That was a great movie.
Fucking love that movie. Yeah.
Right. Fantastic movie. And like some of the depictions of what's going on kind of like made me feel like Big Fish, where I'm like, did this really happen?
Yeah.
Or is this an exaggeration of a version of what happened? But either way, it's fun to watch. It was an absolutely absurd time in the world and sports. And it's interesting just to see it all play out in front of us. So no, I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to continuing the series.
Tan, what did you think of that first quarter?
It was good. It was a nice flashback to the way things were. I was surprised that he didn't ask Rose's dad for her hand.
I remember you commenting that during the movies, like you should have asked him for permission first.
Yeah. That's
so then that did happen in this half, because we didn't see a scene about it. So that is what I was.
He went over to propose.
Okay. So then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Again, we didn't cover that scene.
Sorry,
so
I didn't clip it, but no. Because not a lot was said during the scene, right?
One job. But anyway,
you did talk about it though, Al. I got you on this.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, it's an important scene, but it was like, so, it starts with him having to meet the parents, but he doesn't even go down on one knee.
Right.
He doesn't even ask her.
No, he doesn't. He just shows her the ring.
He doesn't even ask her. Like he did like a total Neanderthal move.
But after showing himself to be such a gentleman and showing to be polite and everything, he didn't
even offer to wash her dishes or anything.
No, it just, that part didn't make sense.
Yeah,
to
it
me.
didn't.
Like, why didn't you even he never got down on a knee. He didn't ask. It was just assumed, and he didn't ask the parents, which is you totally.
Yeah.
Well, he was established as a socially awkward person in the beginning there, right? Like he doesn't become the loud, boisterous character that we know until later. So in the beginning, he doesn't say much, right? Like when he first gets introduced to her, he sits there quietly and mumbles a few things, but he doesn't say much, right?
Yeah. No, I thought that was a little out of character for what I thought. Who I thought he was, or how they had at least portrayed him at the beginning of being a polite, well-mannered, and even going to the house, you can't go on a date until you meet the parents. So that just kind of didn't, that didn't seem right to me. But anyway, and I made the comment right away that he forgot to ask. Was it in this episode too about that he was laid off?
Not yet.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Which time?
We'll get
Spoiler.
Sorry.
Well, no, he's just been traded a bunch of times. Like every time he, assaults his coach and or team owner, he gets traded or benched, right?
I love I love the scenes of them in the dressing room, and I love like when they were throwing the towel at him, and he was trying to get the stitches and stuff.
Yeah.
And if that's true, if he truly had that many stitches in his face, then hell yeah, everybody, and you should like start buying all the cocoa butter or whatever that you can for your scars, because Alan's scar is like hella huge on his wrist.
You have to use it while it's happening, not like years after.
Well, yeah, something's better than nothing, so we gotta get it going.
The best time was to do it was then. The next best time is now, right?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It was fun. I'm looking forward to having a next round.
All right, and Victor, your final comment, or not final, like your thoughts on this first quarter?
Sure. Yeah, it was good. It was a bit frustrating, right? Because it's just kind of watching Charlie Brown, right? So
I love that reference.
Yeah, and just the Ron Ellis scene, it was heartbreaking. It's because you knew it was gonna happen, and when he does, like, you idiot, what are you doing? And you just felt like you just feel so bad. And it's like, okay, your career is done.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you could tell he was proud of what he did right up until he got yelled at. Like even after Ellis goes down like a sack of whatever, he was still like,
nailed it.
I did it. He came in with his head down. He was asking for it. And that's
but again, Sarah, I think, like, again, very not underrated, but like just, you know, she made the scenes that she was in. Like she was so good. And then if you listen to the interviews, Kiso loved the scenes when she's removing the stitches, like all those scenes, because they're like so close. And so when in kind of doing that dialogue, felt very special to him. And it was so he called those scenes out as something very, very special. And so that's where kind of you start to see, you know, the human side, and you know, it's not just the big dumb ape of a hockey player. So it's pretty good. Again, very reminiscent of the whole Shoresy Laura Moore, right? So yeah, it was good, but a lot of frustration because there's like he's the character that just perpetually loses. He's the Fraser Crane or whatever, right? Just whatever.
Yeah, not quite as eloquently spoken, but yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. All right. Well, before we move on to final comments, I just want to talk a little news here. I've been busy moving the podcast over to our new home on the Sonar Podcast Network, but I've also been working on making our Patreon feed more engaging. Matt, get ready. As always, our patrons enjoy early access to interviews and a bunch of bonus content. But now that we're on the Sonar Network, you may have noticed that ads have become appearing in our episodes. They help us pay for the production and hosting expenses. So trust me, we're not getting rich on this podcast. But the good news is, if you are a patron, you can get all the bonus content and our usual episodes commercial free. There's a separate Patreon feed you can subscribe to. Just go to our Patreon site. There's a link in the show notes. Go to the link membership tab and follow the instructions at the bottom relating to whichever podcast app you use. And Matt, would you like to shout out our patrons?
Yes, I would absolutely love to do that. And we have nothing but love for all of you. So big shout outs to Jack from Melbourne, Josh from Pennsylvania, Chad from Minnesota, Adrian from Maine, Awesome from California, Trace from Mississippi, Liz, Michigan, Jason from Indianapolis, Justin from the UK, Ryan from Maryland, Matt, myself, from Toronto, Michelle from Sudbury, Robbie from Idaho, Mike from New Jersey, Joey from Colorado, Casey from Virginia, Jeff from Maine, Miriam from Toronto, Nick from Las Vegas. Obviously, Nick in forever.
I know. It's been. I reached out to him to see how he's doing, but I haven't heard from him in a while. Yeah.
Aaron from Chicago, Gord from Toronto, Dennis from the UK, Jen from Virginia, Noah from upstate New York, Scott from Parts Unknown. That's a really good show, by the way. Cassie from Simcoe, Rebecca from Nebraska, Dennis from Michigan, Sarah from Wisconsin, Casey from North Carolina, Jay from Edmonton, Jeremy from Perth, Catherine from Texas, Tobias from Missouri, PJ from Pennsylvania, Paddle from Rhode Island, Dave from Michigan, Charlie from Massachusetts, and our newest member to join, Teresa from Texas. Thank you all of you from the bottom of our hearts for all of your continued support.
Yes, thank you so much. It means so much. And to Teresa, thank you for joining. She just joined in the last couple of weeks, so folks are still listening and still hopefully getting some value being patrons. So if you guys want to support us and like what we're doing, please join, because we're gonna promise to do more stuff for our patrons and make it worth your while. Now, final comments, and it starts with me, guys. This has been a lot of fun. It's been way too long, and to be back to reviewing anything, even if it isn't Letterkenny or Shorzy related, it's close. It's Kiso, and
Adjacent.
It's adjacent, yeah. And
is it still considered in the universe?
No,
I feel this is origin. I don't think it's adjacent.
It's like an origin story. Yeah, maybe it's an origin to the universe. Yeah. Guys, great job. A lot of fun. Can't wait to do the second half of the first part next week, the second quarter. And to continue this. Matt.
We got to figure our shit out.
Right. Yeah.
So the conversation that we alluded to briefly today, when we were trying to figure out what we were all doing tonight, and I couldn't stop laughing, and didn't know how it was all going to pan out until we got here. And still, it went a little bit differently, and I'm very happy that it did. So this was fun. I needed this laugh, y'all. Love you guys, and I can't wait to keep this one going. This is a fun series. I'm enjoying it.
Tanya?
Are we doing like unicorn and like ratings, or are we holding it all to the end?
Yeah, we'll do it at the end of each movie, which is so next week we can rate the first movie.
So this wasn't the first
half of the first
movie? Part one of movie one.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we'll rate part one next week.
Part one of 1 and 2?
Yeah. Just
Stop
go with
asking
it.
questions.
Just go with it.
This is exactly how the conversation.
Just let it
in our chat
happen.
went
Yes.
today.
And I woke up and had my whirlwind of like school and getting everything going, and I think there was like 20 messages by like 8
Between
o'clock.
Victor and Matt, and I'm like, yeah. Anyway,
that was a lot of fun. So thank you
kept
for
calling out for Al.
That was a funny morning. No, this is terrific. I love seeing your faces, and this is a lot of fun. Can't wait for next week.
All right, Victor.
Yeah, so I'm glad we so smartly had the consensus to do it the way that we ended up doing it, because had we done it the newly proposed way by some on this call that we don't have to name, we would have been only halfway through the episode at this point.
It's true.
In
my defense, I didn't think I was going to go as in depth with my script this time, but then I started writing the script and like, shit, I'm doing it. So anyway,
and I have indifferent play on this, so I'm just whatever.
Anyway, it ended up being the way it should have always been, and
the way you said it. Yes.
And now we've set a precedent, and now we can continue with the winning formula. So I think that's fantastic.
All right.
So can't wait till the next one.
All right. I'm going to play us off here with Tanya's favorite song, "Your Man" by Joji. That's all we have for this episode. Next week, we recap the second half of the first part of the first movie. So if you're enjoying this story, make sure you come back for that. Until then,
how do people find it for themselves?
On Amazon.
Good luck.
Apparently, it's on Amazon in the U.S., just not up here in Canada.
Amazon and watch it with us.
Yes.
We're on part 2 of part 1.
Exactly. Until then, if you'd like to support the podcast, become a patron or tell a friend. Also, follow us on Blue Sky at Protestant Pod. Thank you for joining us. Now we're going to the after party. On behalf of Tanya, Matt, Victor, and myself, thank you for listening, and have a great week.